House to Home, brought to you by Remax Diamond Realty.
Happy day, everybody. Within the context of real estate and property, what is lease to own? Is it the smart thing to do? Should you plan to do it at some point? And if you are a property owner, how can it benefit you and how can it make you money? Fortunately, Gina is here from Remax Diamond Realty Guam, and she has all of those answers and so many more. Gina, happy day.
I have some of those answers.
Yeah, you have the answers for everything. Well, okay, well, basically the quintessential answer is what is lease to own and how does it benefit the seller and the buyer?
And we get a lot of phone calls from buyers who are interested in lease to own.
I would assume so.
Yeah, but today I kind of wanted to explain, recently we've had situations where sellers have come to us and they've got a piece of property for one reason or another cannot be financed. And there's so many variables to that. You couldn't get a loan on this particular real estate even if you wanted to. Even if as a buyer you qualified to get the loan, you wouldn't be able to finance it because there's aspect of the property that can't get a loan on it. So as a property owner, and this is where, you know, these information that we give out, this is where it starts helping people, right? As a property owner, if you've got a piece of real estate that is in that situation, you want or need to sell it, but for whatever reason, the realtor you're working with, or you found out, you've gone through the mill of trying to sell it on your own and you found out, oh my gosh, this property can't be financed. And you don't have the means to correct the issue that's at hand, whatever that issue is. Lease to own is an option, or a contract of sale is an option. So when that occurs, what you're doing is you're basically entering into a contract with a buyer, and you're telling that buyer, listen, you're going to give me a lump sum if you choose to do that. Some owners want a down payment. It could be any amount. It just depends on what you negotiate. It could be as little as $5,000 to as much as $20, $30, $40, sometimes more, $1,000. So you negotiate how much do you want down, and at the end of whatever period, what period are you guys agreeing to? Is it 10 years? Is it 15, 30? What is the amount of time that you're willing to stretch out these payments? And at the end, so what are you willing to sell it to that person for? Depending on the problem that you have with that piece of real estate, you kind of have to agree on what the value is right now. What is the value? Is the value $100,000, $200,000, $300,000? I don't know, but you somehow have to come to some kind of agreement what the value is. And then you take that value and you say, okay, listen, you're the buyer, but in the meantime, you're going to be renting the property from me. Okay, so the lease to own, lease option to purchase is like this. We agree on the price, we agree on how long I'm going to have this arrangement, and we agree on what the monthly payment is going to be.
So as far as the landlord-tenant relationship, say I'm your tenant and you're my landlord, right?
Yes.
So we make that agreement at least in principle, but as far as the responsibilities for the property, if I'm still your tenant for say like the remainder of the year, and now we're in May, so for the next 7 months, if anything goes wrong with my aircon, you'll still fix it. If there are adjustments to be made and everything like that, you'll take care of that. But if I buy it at the end of the year, from that point on, the property is mine and it's my responsibility.
Not necessarily, and that's the beauty of the lease option. It can be like that, or it could be a more solid arrangement where the seller says, listen, I'm giving it to you at this price. And see, you mentioned a timeline of a year. So in that situation, you're really a tenant for a year, and after that year, you've made an agreement that you're actually going to buy that house outright. Well, the situation that I'm talking about is a house that cannot be financed. So you're in that lease situation until you pay off the debt.
I see. Okay, I see. Okay.
I'm really, I'm trying to give advice to those real estate owners who have property that cannot, the tenant at the end of the year can't go to the bank and say, let me have the money so I could pay off the landlord and then it's my house. So that's the situation I'm talking about. You have a piece of real estate that you can't sell for whatever reason, and the problem could be curable, but perhaps you don't have the means of curing that issue. So it is complicated, but this is a means by you're able to sell the property, but you're not going to get the immediate cash, up front. You're going to stretch it out over a period of time that your tenant/buyer is able to do for you. But it's a way for you to be able to sell your property.
And how commonly is this done on Guam right now? You
It's
said
done.
you're seeing it, and there is a
yes,
little bit of a surge.
I have a couple of properties that I've worked, that I've actually brokered. I've put them together with that type of situation. And I have one where it's because the property can't be financed, and one where the buyer wasn't ready to obtain financing. They needed a year. Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like a long-term agreement.
Or a short-term agreement.
Or short-term, yeah.
Yeah, it could be either one.
Interesting. So I know, of course, people can probably Google this to find out much more, or they can contact you directly.
Or they can contact us. Yeah, they can contact the office, 479-9532. Ask for Liz or myself, and we'll help them.
Okay, well, we do appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. And we will see you on the flip side of this break. Please stay tuned.